So for turning tabs on for Lavu, you'll go into your main home screen, log into your Lavu account. You'll go ahead and click on Settings. Go to CC Integration. Now, if you're already accepting credit cards, you should already have a payment gateway chosen and an integration. If you've not gotten one set up, feel free to give us a call and we can take a look at setting up with the proper gateway for your swiper and making sure your swiper is properly encrypted. So the tab menu is going to be scrolling on down here, is under your tab section here. So a couple major things to understand about tabs. So when you start a tab, it's going to authorize the credit card. So you'll have to choose the pre-authorized amount. So you have all kinds of options here: $1, $25, $50. For our credit card processing clients, we recommend at least authorizing for about 20 to 30% higher than your normal ticket value. So Visa, MasterCard will charge a higher interchange rate if you go more than 20% over your authorization amount. Also, Lavu is not going to necessarily protect you from chargebacks if the authorization amount and the closure amount is too far gone. So there's just a couple of major things to kind of think about here. Now, you don't want to over-authorize. So if you did, $1,000 authorization, the customer may not have that on their card, or a $100 authorization. If you're just a bar with beers, it'll hold those $100 until the batch closes out. So the customer may see that authorization for up to a day or two after you do the tab amount. So start to work on this, figure out what your thresholds would be, and you can always adjust this at any time for what the automatic tab amount is. Okay. Now, a couple other things. Do not ask to perform pre-auth when swiping. This just allows you to automatically, when you swipe a card, it grabs a name. Then same thing for here. You can choose first name, last name, or both. I go ahead and just use last name most of the time, just because then I'll keep the cards handy until the customer leaves, just in case I need to run the card again because they ran up a large bill beyond their authorization amount. A couple other things for tabs that you may want to turn on or turn off. If you want to print a receipt for pre-auths, most people don't do that, but you have that option. Most people just allow it to get to the end where it prints an individual receipt for when you do your what's called a post-auth or closing out your ticket, which I do have checked here. Okay, so now we'll show how the tab starting.
Okay, so now that we set up the settings for the tab, I'm going to show you how to create one. So go ahead and log in as your server. Okay, we're in the table menu now, so we're going to go ahead and go to the tab menu. Okay, so from tab layout, you can see I already have one tab open. So whenever you open a tab, depending on how your settings are set up, you can do last name or first name, and then we'll show also the last 4 digits of the card. Okay. Next, you create a tab, and at this point, the screen will pop up where you normally type in the person's name. From there, you're going to go ahead and swipe the card on the side. Once you swipe the card, it'll grab and ask for an authorization. You say yes, and it authorizes the card. This moment does set up the pre-auth amount for whatever amount we set on the back end. So in this case, it is the $25. Two situations can happen. One, you can go over the 25, and another way, you can go under the 25 in this situation. So again, we'll talk a little bit about the benefits of having the right authorization amount and stuff like that, but it will let you close out for above the amount that you authorized for. So let's go ahead and show that scenario. So we went ahead and do some salads here, and it's now $27.80, so the amount due is $280. So to close out that $280 amount, we would go to the checkout screen. We would click on the pre-auth itself, and it'll ask you pre-auth capture or void transaction. So you can void, so they give you another card or somebody else wants to pay, you can void the transaction and use a different one, or you can click on pre-auth capture, and it'll bring up the total. Are you sure you want to send a capture for $27.80, which is the amount, the pre-auth plus the amount due. We're going to go ahead and say no here because I want to show you a different menu, but that would allow you to close out the transaction and get a receipt. So let's go back to our order. And then from here, we're going to go ahead and void out these caprese salads and then bring in something of less amount. So I have a frozen yogurt we can bring in for a few cents. Okay, so now we have 37-cent frozen yogurt because it's by the pound. And now the amount due is still $0. So same thing though, when we go to the checkout, and from here, you're going to go ahead and click on the pre-auth. You're going to go ahead and pre-auth capture. It'll say, yes, do you want to capture the amount for 38 cents? You say yes. Then you'll show the amount there is there's no overpayment. and the amount due is still $0. So at this point, we can go ahead and print the receipt or not. We're going to print the receipt, and you'll have the customer sign. And the checkout's complete. So a couple big things with the pre-auth and things to know about the pre-auth. So here's another tab we had open. We've authorized this card for the $25. Okay, so let's go ahead and pretend like we're going to do that void transaction scenario. So this situation, card number ending in 3697. If we void it out, we're going to go ahead and run someone else's card. I'm going to void it because we got a new card. Continue. It'll still show that transaction in the history in the back, but now we can go ahead and run the 2887. Now, a couple major things here though, because it's authorized, that cardholder is going to see that pre-auth. So keep in mind that if it's a credit card, it won't drop for 3 to 5 days. If it's a debit card, maybe 15 days. This is a common question that we had calling in. So-and-so said they charged my card. Again, an authorization will hold those funds because that authorization is good for 30 days for up to 30. Most are between 3 and 5 for credit and up to 15 for debit. So if you have any questions, if you're one of our clients, give us a call. We can kind of see the authorization and see when it's dropping, or call your credit card processing provider directly. Any additional questions about opening tabs or running your bar efficiently and how to properly open and close these tabs, feel free to give us a call directly. This is Kyle from Mercantile Processing. Thank you very much.